Welcome to the second video in this series of architectural drafting. In the last video, we dealt with, um, creating the layout of the building. As you can see here, we have all of the different um, rooms laid out where we want them to be. We can see the size of the rooms. We can see the names of the rooms. You can see where the windows would go tentatively, and the openings, the doorways, and the openings. We can see in the kitchen area. There's another door leading outside of the house, and this is the entrance to the house right here. We should probably, design wise, we should probably put this door pointing outside of the house. Okay. If there's an emergency and you need to get out of your house, you don't want to try to pull the door to get out. You want to just be able to run straight through that door if you have to, or run straight outside of the house. But a typical design sense. All right. So in this video, we're going to be reproducing this layout as a sketch, a proper sketch in AutoCAD. So I'm using AutoCAD, I think version 2022. If you have a lower version, there are some subtle changes, but they shouldn't affect what we're going to be doing for the most part in these drawings. So let's click on the plus right here to open up a new drawing area. And the first thing we want to set up is our unit. I'm going to type the word units and hit enter. It's going to bring up this dialog box, and then we're going to set for the length, we're going to leave it at decimal, and for the precision, we're going to set it at 0. We're going to change the insertion scale. We're going to change that to millimeters. That's what we're going to be using. And this is over here is already set to 0 for angles and decimal degrees. We won't have any angles to show, but just in case, it will be at the same precision of 0. Leave the lighting and everything else, leave it as it is, international, and hit OK. So the units are done. Next up, we want to set up the limits. So I type the word limits, enter, and now it is asking me to specify the lower left corner. The lower left corner is always going to be 0, 0. You are basically putting in coordinates just like you would in a graph. So 0, 0, and hit enter. That is going to be right in the corner down there. And then you want to specify the upper right corner of the area that we're going to be walking. All right, the limits of our drawing. Now this would be dependent on the size of the drawing. So if we look at our drawing, we could see that our drawing is 38 feet by 27 feet. Okay, that's the size of the drawing. So we don't want our limits to be, very small. We want it to be big enough to accommodate this drawing. So we're going to specify those two coordinates, 38 feet across, 27 feet upwards. I'm going to just turn it into 40 feet rather than 38. I'm going to turn it into 40 feet and then maybe 30 feet the other way. So 40, 30. But we're not dealing with feet. Remember, we change our settings to millimeters. We're going to be dealing with millimeters in our drawing. So we're going to convert everything to millimeters. So that 40 feet, we would convert that to millimeters by multiplying by 300, and that should give us 12,000 millimeters. So we should see 12 for upper right hand corner. It should be 12,000 enter, 12,000 comma. So I'm just doing it over 0, 0 for the lower left corner. For the upper right corner, it will be 12,000 comma, and the other one, how much did I say? 30 feet, right? That will be 9,000. Right, and hit enter. So now that I've established that limit for my drawing, that area for my drawing, I'm going to type Z for zoom, hit enter, and then I'm going to type A for all, or you can just click the A down here. It's going to zoom into that area that we just defined. Okay, so if we draw a line, um, it a line of 12,000 feet is not going to look like a short line. It's not going to look like it's not going to go on forever past this space. Okay, but maybe I'll explain a little bit more about the limits in another video. All right, so we're going to reproduce this drawing here. First thing we need to do is create some layers, because what layers do we need to show? We have windows, dimensions, we have doors, we have the walls. So the windows, the doors, the walls, dimensions, and we have all labels for our rooms. So that's like 5 different dimensions. We're going to need to create 5 layers. Go up to layer properties and click that on. It should pop up the dialog box, this box where we could adjust, create our layers and make our adjustments. You could dock it by clicking if we click this, we could allow docking and anchor it to the left. It's already there, like so. I think I made a mistake and did not put it properly. Alright, let me just close the properties. So I'll need to just stretch this out so I can see it. Alright, so I created a new layer by clicking this icon here. If you hover over it, you should see the names show up of what it does. So new layer, we're going to call this one the walls. We're going to leave the color white so it will show up good on this black background. The line type, leave it continuous, and the line weight, click on that, and we're going to make it very thick, maybe 0.30. That's going to be the thickest type of line. Next, we want to create our dimension layer. So I'm going to call it dim. Actually, let me just be clear. So I'm going to make this one yellow. Hit OK. Leave it continuous for the line type, and the weight, we want to make it a little thinner than the dimension, than the wall layer, so we make it 0.20. What else? We need one for the room, so we call it our text layer. We'll make that green, and it doesn't really matter, because when we use the text tool is going to automatically adjust the thickness anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we put the line weight as for the text layer. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Then we need our doors. I was gonna put the doors and the windows on the same layer, but I'm going to actually separate them. So we're gonna leave it at 0.20 for the line weight. Everything else stays the same. Line type continuous, color magenta, and then we're gonna do one for the windows. I'm gonna leave it the same color, although they are on different layers, so I can switch them on and off individually as I need to. Is that everything? Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 4, 5. Okay, cool. Alright, so we have our 5 layers that we're going to be using. Now we're going to produce this drawing. Alright, so our first, we have our 15 by 12 bedroom here. At 15 feet, you want to convert everything to millimeters. So 15 feet by 300, that's 4,500. So I'm going to use the line tool by clicking the line tool up here. It should be the same in the 2018 version, or if not, just type L for line, hit enter. You have the line tool. Firstly, just make sure that you're on your walls layer, and then you use the tool. So now I use the line tool, click, here, and then my first room is going to be 15 feet, which is 4,500 millimeters, because we're using the metric system for our drawings. If you notice, the line is very thin. I want to show the thickness of the line by turning on this line weight hide or show feature. So now I can see the thickness of the line, the real thickness of the line as I draw them. Alright, so that's 15 feet, and then the other one we're gonna come down 12 feet. 12 times 300, that's 3600. So line tool again, L enter, and I'm gonna click this edge, and I'm gonna come down here 3600. So, and then I'm just gonna carry it across like this, the same measurement. You want to make sure, if since we are doing these straight lines, either it's going horizontal or vertical, you want to probably turn on this ortho mode. This is going to only give us horizontal or vertical lines, nothing in between, so you can't accidentally draw a line that is slightly diagonal, because one little thing is going to throw off the whole drawing. Alright, so this one was what, 15 feet. I'm gonna go back and forth with this thing. Okay, 15 feet. So again, remember 15 feet, 4,500 going across, and then we could just click here, or you could type C and enter, and it's gonna close. Okay, don't do that, because that is going to close, carry it back to the beginning. I forgot this was not the beginning. I actually started here, so it carried me to the beginning point of my drawing. All right, other circumstances you might be able to do that if you consider that. All right, so we just carry this line up, and we have that. Next up, I want to actually copy this. I'm gonna select this area. I'm gonna click, not drag. If I click and drag, this happens. I don't want this to happen, so I don't click and drag. I just click once, move my mouse, and then click again. So now I can use the copy tool. I click copy. I already selected first, click copy. Now it's asking me select a base point. Where it's going to be my base point, I'm going to use right here as my base point. A base point is a point where you just grab the object. Okay, where do you want to grab the object to move it? Right there. So there it is. I'm going to just put it down here for now. I'll need to move it again after. Next up is the bathroom, 8 by 8. So 8 feet times 300. If you know your 8 times tables, that's 2400. All right, all your 3 times tables. All right, so we're gonna draw the other room here. So that's gonna be 2400. Come down 2400, and then come across here like so. I'm just gonna draw a line like that. I can always trim it off. So to trim, you come here to the trim tool, and then we just come over the part that we want to trim off. If you have 2018, you will have to hit enter first and then trim the area. So if you have 2018, you click the trim tool, hit enter, or right click on your mouse, and then you can left click on the area that you want to trim. If you're using 2022, you just click trim and you start to left click on the area you want to trim off the object. Alright, so now we want to move this part back. So we use the move tool. Last time we used copy, but it's the exact same steps, just a different tool. So we select all the lines that we want to move, hit the move tool, specify the base point. Base point is going to be this corner this time, and then I want to move it right here. If you are not seeing these little green snaps, that's what they're called. They're called snaps, object snaps, because instead of trying to click directly in the corner, AutoCAD could give you a snap that is going to show up here that causes your mouse to snap to that location, the corner, the endpoint of a line or an object. So if you don't have those on, you want to go to your object snap drop down menu right here. You click that arrow next to this object snap settings, and you would see the endpoint, the midpoint, center, intersection. So snaps are going to appear at any of these places. At the end of a line, a snap would show up, an endpoint snap. If I go to the middle of a line, you would see a triangle show up. For example, if I want to draw a line, you notice a triangle show up. That's the midpoint of this line, and so on. So just make sure all of these ones that you're going to be using are on. You could turn them on and off, as sometimes they conflict with each other. But these more than likely is not going to be a problem. So endpoint, midpoint, center, intersection, extension, perpendicular, and nearest. You can pause the video at this point if you want to take a look at that and adjust your settings. Alright, so I'm going to just move this by selecting it, move tool, base point here, and then drag it over. We'll move it over here and click. Alright, I believe below we had, look at the drawing, the kitchen 15 by 15. So remember, we're converting everything to millimeters. So 15 feet in millimeters, that's 4,500. So it's going to be 4,500 down, 4,500, enter, come across, 4,500, enter, come up. I can just click here instead of typing 4,500 again, and then the porch area on the side, line tool, activate my line tool, and then I believe the porch area is right 15 by 5. So I'm going to come down 4,500, come across 5 feet. So 5 feet is going to be 1,500, and then I'm going to come up. Alright, I'm not going to waste time trying to be precise. I'm just going to use my trim tool. Shortcut to the trim tool, TR, and hit enter. Remember, if you're using AutoCAD 2018, you will have to right click first before you left click to trim. Alright, and then we have the last line for our living room area. It should be 28 feet, 18 feet, sorry. Yeah, 18 feet. We don't need to measure it because we already had the other ends done. Okay, so now that we have this, let me just move this away from the bottom. It does not have to be down here. So we could put this anywhere. Let's put it more. Alright, I need to turn off the author mode. I'm gonna click this one so that I can move my object around anyway. So there we go. Alright, so this drawing, it might take a little bit of time because of the things that we have to put in, just like a floor plan, but we want to do it properly, so I'm just taking the time to do it now. Let's put in our dimensions. So let's switch to the dimension layer, and then we're going to be dimensioning using the linear tool. This is for horizontal or vertical measurements, not slanted diagonal measurements, just the horizontal. So we gonna do this, click here from this wall to that wall, and then I'm gonna bring it upwards like so. I want to put it like 1200 millimeters, which is 4 feet away from the drawing. Hit enter. So there we go. Now here's the thing, you notice you can't see the measurement. It's there, but you can't see it. Let's see, it should be around here. Yes, 4,500 with all these zeros. It's like that because we have not set up our annotations, our measurements settings. So we can adjust that right now. I meant to do that, really. Okay, so we go to the second one. Actually, let's set up the first one, the text. So if we go to the text, it's going to bring up this. We're going to change the text height. Now, typically our text height in AutoCAD is in drawing general, sorry, is supposed to be 3 millimeters. But our floor plan is going to be at the scale of 1 to 50. So I'm going to change the height of that text to 50 times whatever the usual size is. So we use 3 millimeters for text height. So at a scale of 1 to 50, the text height would be 150. That's just we could adjust it to be a little bit smaller depending on how it looks, but just hit apply and then set current. So every text that we write is going to show up like that. Now we going to set up. Nothing has happened yet because we adjusted our text. We did not adjust our annotations. So let's go to the dimensioning styles. Click that, make sure it's on standard, and then we hit modify. We can create a custom one, but we're going to use the standard one here. Start from lines, so we're going to change the extend beyond dimension line setting. If you notice, this line is going to extend beyond. This is our extension lines, and this is our dimension line. The extension line is going to extend beyond the dimension line by whatever number we give it. Usually it's 1 millimeter. So again, at the scale of 1 to 50, we're going to times it by 50. So 1 times 50 is 50. Offset from origin is usually 1. So we're going to times it by 50, 50 again. So if you notice it went beyond the line. And then the offset from the origin, which is the object, is 1 millimeter away. But at a scale of 1 to 50 is 50 millimeters away. Alright, so there's a space in between the extension line now and the object, the drawing. Next up, symbols and arrows. We're going to be using our architectural tick for these drawings, and the arrow size is the same as our text height, which is 3 millimeters times 50, so 150. The text height, you notice it's already set to 150, and we can't adjust it because it is actually taking the measurement from the setting that we already established in the text setup. So remember, we adjusted our text already and set it to 150, so it pulled the measurement from there, the text height setting from there. So now we want to go to primary units. Right now it is set to decimal, that's what we want it to be, and the precision we want it to be just 0. Okay, remember we saw it was 4500.0000, right, because it was here. Now we put it to that, it will just show us 4500. So let's hit OK, set current, and then close this. So now we see our measurement. Alright, so we just want to measure all of the rooms for this drawing real quickly. I'm going to move a lot faster now, just in case you're not doing this and just want to watch it. Let me just move a lot faster. So I want to go to my annotate. This is where I get all my measurements settings, and I hit continue. So it's going to continue from my last measurement, which is this one, and I'm going to select here and then select here. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to use the linear tool again from this side. Boom, boom, bring it out, type 1200 and hit enter. Alright, and then I use continue. It's going to give us, it's going to continue where we started off, so we don't have to put in the distance away from the drawing again. Let's just do the underside from here to here, bring it down 1200 away from the drawing, and then hit enter, continue tool, and then just put it like that and like that. Next up, there's actually a faster way you could do this by just selecting the lines and then clicking one button, and it's going to dimension everything, give you different layers, but we don't really want to do that right now. You have to, sometimes it give you things that you don't want, and you end up spending a lot of time cleaning up rather than just continue with your drawing. I think we still need to show the measurement for the bathroom from that wall of the bathroom to the inside wall. Again, inside wall, remember these measurements are inside measurements, from the inside of this wall to the inside of that wall, and so on. I think this is everything that we need. We just need to put in our doors and windows and then our labels. So let's do the labels. It doesn't really matter. So to switch between layers, you could just double click on the layer status and it will take it. So that's going to be our layer that we're on, or we could just come here and change it. So let's go to this and go to single line, click once. Now it's going to ask you for your rotation angle. 0 degrees means you're going from left to right horizontally, so I'm going to leave it at 0. If I put it 90 degrees, it's going to go straight up, so I'm going to leave it at 0. And then remember, we always type in uppercase, so this is going to be bedroom bedroom 1. I'm going to bedroom 2. This is bathroom, kitchen, and then this is our dining. Actually, let me just dine slash living. And over here would be our porch area. All right. I click outside and hit escape to get out of the tool. So now we want to put in our doors and windows, and then we'll be good to go. This will be our sketch. All right. So doors and windows. Um, let's go to our layer for doors. Actually, let's do the windows first. So we're gonna do something really maybe new. We're gonna create a block so that we can reuse these things over and over and over. So I'm going to create a block for our windows, our different type of windows. In our kitchen, we're going to be using maybe a 2-foot window, a 3-foot window. In our bedroom, we're going to be using a 4-foot window. In the bathroom, we're going to be using 2 feet window. So how we're going to do that? We're going to create a window using the rectangle tool, like so. Click, and then we're going to come down. We click once, left click, and then we're going to come down to, by the way, when I say click, I mean left click. If I want to right click, I will specify right click. So rectangle tool and click once, and then we come down to dimensions. Okay, we're going to enter the dimensions manually. So a 4-foot window in millimeters is going to be 1200 millimeters, and then hit enter. Now it's asking me for the width. The width of the windows will typically be the width of your walls. So we're going to be using 6-inch blocks for our walls. So 6 inches, that's about 150 millimeters. Because remember, 300 millimeters is 1 foot. So half a foot or 6 inches is 150 millimeters. Right, so there we have it. So now we have to click, left click to make it permanent because right now it's still moving about. And there we go. We have that. So we want to do the same for our 2-foot window and our 3-foot window that we're going to be using in our bathrooms and kitchen. So rectangle tool, click once, dimensions, 3-foot window, so that's 900 millimeters. The width is going to be the same, 150, boom, and then click. Again, rectangle tool, click, 2-foot window, so that's 600 millimeters. Oh, sorry, I did not put in the dimension, didn't click dimension. So the length is going to be 600 millimeters and the width is going to be 150. Hit enter and then click. Alright, so now in between these windows we are going to be putting a line right to the midpoint. So from here, you notice that triangle show up because I have on my midpoint snap. Use a line tool again. I just hit enter to reactivate my line tool. If I last use my line tool, I could just hit enter and it's going to reactivate the tool that I had last. That's a little shortcut. And hit enter to end it rather than escape. Enter again to start it, line tool, enter again to end it. Now, there are different representations for windows. For a slide, this is a fixed window, but for sliding windows, you would put 2 lines, one from left to right, one from right to left, and they would overlap in the center. So you would end up with your inside lines looking something like this for your windows. One from that side, maybe down here, and the other one will come across like so. So instead of this one line, you would show these 2 lines, this one from that end and this one from the other end, and they will overlap in the middle, just like sliding windows do when you open them. Sorry. There are some other designs which you could look in the textbook and you would see them. For this purpose, to keep it simple, as it's just a sketch, we're going to do that. Now, as I said, we're going to create blocks. So we're going to create, if we try to move this, we have to select everything because this line is by itself, the rectangle is by itself. We want to make everything into one item. So to do that, we go to insert, and we could create block, and then we're going to call this block our 600, let's call it window 1, and then in the description I'll put the specification. So it's 600 mm. Usually that's the width of the window, and you would show the height, talk about the height of the window also. We remember we put the width of the window at the thickness of the wall also, but we're not going to put that in the description. This is the 2-foot window, this is your bathroom window, so it's going to be what, 2 feet by 2 feet. So 600 times 600 millimeters. I'm going to state bathroom window. Right, so now next step is to select all of the lines that make up that window. So I'm going to click select objects, this option right here, and then this is the window that we wanted to do. So we're gonna click here once, left click, and then move the mouse and then click again. So now we selected all of the objects that make up the window and hit enter. So all the objects that make up the block on the window are selected. Now we come across to the base point. Remember, the base point is the point where we grab the window. So we click pick point, and now we're going to select a point that is going to be our window. For this example, I want to put the base point as the midpoint right here, so that whenever we load in, actually let's make it right here for the sake of the floor plan that's coming up. Okay, and then hit OK. So now we created a block. So notice that you could move around this window all in one as one block. All the lines have been fused into one item. Okay, so now we want to do the same thing for all of them. By the way, if you want to insert this window now, we just have to go here and we have it here. Now I can just insert a window. Rather than trying to copy, I can just insert a window from our list of blocks that we created. So let's do the same thing for our window. This is a 3-foot window, 900 millimeters. So I'm going to go to create block again. Give it a name. I'll call it window 2. This one is going to be 900 mm times, I believe this one would probably be 3 feet high over the kitchen, so that's 900 millimeters again. I'll call it the kitchen window, and then I'm going to select objects, all of the objects that make up the window, all the rectangle and the line, hit enter, then the pick point. This is going to be my base point right there, and I hit OK. Block number 2 created. Window 1, window 2. Now create another block for the third window. We'll call this one window 3. This one is going to be our 4-foot window, so that's 1200 millimeters times 1200 millimeters. We'll call it our this is just our standard window. That's going to be used in our bedrooms, in the kitchen, one part of the kitchen, the dining room, everything. Select objects, all the objects that make up that window here. Notice I'm selecting from so that's a quick tip. I'm selecting using the green selector tool. I'm going from right to left. When you go from right to left, it is going to, anything that this green area touches is automatically going to select the entire thing. So the green area touches just part of the rectangle, and notice the entire rectangle is selected and turns a little light pink. If I use the blue selector tool, I will go from left to right. Notice when I select from left to right, anything the blue selector tool touches does not get selected unless the entire object has been selected. So keep that in mind. If you use the blue one, you have to select every line in order for the object to be selected. If you use the green one, then once it touches part of the line, I could do that and the whole thing is going to be selected. Okay, hit enter. So now my pick point, I'm going to put the midpoint of this and then hit OK right there. So now I have my three windows. I can insert them at any point throughout the house. All right, so let me just get rid of these. Um, let's put them in one time then. So insert window one. This is for the bathroom, I believe. So we're gonna put it right here. Notice I put my base point at the top line. There are three lines that make up this window: the top, the middle, and the bottom line. Notice I put it my base point at the top. So now when I'm ready to put it here, I can't put it in the center. So what I would do, I would just put it down, and then I would use my move tool, click, and then hit enter. What is my base point? I want to use the middle line now as my base point, and I'm going to put it, snap it right in the middle of my bathroom wall. You should see a triangle show up like so. So I want it like that. The reason why I didn't make this my base point um, when I was creating the object is because when we're doing the floor plan, the walls are going to be um, six two two lines 6 inches apart or 150 millimeters apart. So I want to put this right in the middle of that, and there would not be a center line in my walls. I would have to use the top line as my base point and attach it to the top line of the wall. But you'll see when we get there exactly what I mean. Um, so let's insert the other lines. I want to insert three the 3 foot window. That's for the kitchen. I'm going to put it here, but we need to rotate it. So I'm going to select it, hit the rotate tool, specify the base point right in the middle, and then I'm going to type. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. So type 90, enter. Right, so now I can move this, but I have to select the move tool. So just specify the base point in the middle line, the midpoint of the middle line. And let's put it somewhere here. It doesn't have to be in the center of the kitchen, this wall. This point it doesn't really matter. We're not really showing the distance, the measurements, exactly where we place the windows. All right. So let's put in another window, the 3 foot window, the 4 foot window, sorry, and I'm going to put it down here. Um, so remember, same thing. I can't. My midpoint, my base point is not this middle line, so I'm going to change it temporarily when I move it, like so. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this. I'm going to use the copy tool. I'm going to select the center of the window, and I'm going to just use that to put it down multiple points throughout the house like so. There's supposed to be another window, I believe. All right, my mouse is acting up, or maybe it's the surface. All right, yeah, the mouse is not moving. Okay. All right, so let's put it right in the center of this wall like so. We need one here also, so I'm going to just click out here and then I'll rotate it. Let me escape, use your rotate tool, select the object or the object that you want to rotate. So I'm going to click there, hit enter, base point right in the center, and then 90 degrees, type 90, enter. So now it's rotated, and now I want to move it um, using the middle line and put it right in the center here. I should see a triangle show up. Yeah, right there. Okay, so I have, oh, I still need one more. Um, so copy right there, and then right there. That should be it. Window here, window here, window here. Oh, need another window over this side. So let's select this one, move tool, midpoint, come over this side, zoom in, and put a window there. So kitchen has two windows, living dining room windows, right window here. Is move I moved the one, oh, I moved the tool. I should have copied it. I moved the window. Why didn't you tell me? All right. So we have the windows, just like our drawing. Windows, 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 windows. We didn't even put one here, but one should be there in our kitchen. Right, right, right. Um, what else? All right. So we need now we need to create our doors and then we'll be finished. So real quickly, I'm going to be using one type of door for this example, but typically your external doors for your house would have a different, would be larger than your internal doors. Like your bathroom doors would be maybe 750 millimeters, the outside one would be 900 millimeters. All right. So, but for now, we're just going to create one for the sake of time and simplicity. So let's switch to the doors layer, and then we are going to basically create the door. So this door is going to be 900 millimeters wide. We're going to create a block of it also, so we're going to reuse it. All right, so we're going to click and make a line, a horizontal line, 900 millimeters, hit enter, and there we have it. I'm going to zoom into it a bit. Okay, so what we need when we are doing a door frame, we're going to show the door. If you look at the door, it's not just a door attached to the wall. There's a door attached to a piece of wood. We're going to draw that piece of wood. Um, so the internal space of the door is going to be 900 millimeters, and that piece of wood is going to be on the outside of that 900 millimeters. So that piece of wood is typically maybe 1 by 4 inches, 1 inch by 4 inches. So we're going to basically show that looking down on the door. So if we go to our rectangle tool again, we're going to create a piece of wood 1 inch by what it's going to be, we're going to make it the same thickness as the wall. So the wall is going to be 6 inches, so we're going to make it 1 by 6 inches. Okay, so rectangle tool, click, and then come down to dimensions, and then we're going to put in the length of it is going to be 1. I'm doing it this way. I know I said length, but I'm doing it this way so that it will come out in the proper orientation. So I'm going to put not 1, 25 millimeters, which is 1 inch. Hit enter, and now the width is going to be the width of our wall, 150. Now it's going to come out in this orientation, right? Coming downwards, and then we just click, and then we have it. Good. So the next step, we need to just make a copy of this, highlight it, click the copy tool, click over here, yeah, click over here, and then put it like so. And then I want to move this one, select it again, hit the move tool, and select, zoom in a little bit, select this corner right here, bottom right corner, and place it right there of the thing. Okay, so um, I'm going to, so this line in the middle is not necessary for the door. If I only put it there to put to show the distance, the width of the door, which is 900 millimeters or 3 feet. Okay, we'll delete it at the end. So now on the inside of it, we actually want to show the door. You actually want to show the door. So the door is basically going to be shown as a rectangle, an inch thick by the same 900 millimeters, because this has to close up this whole space. Alright, so we're going to draw the door in an open position using the rectangle tool again. We're going to click once, and then we're going to go down to dimensions, and we're going to put 25 millimeters, enter, and then 900 millimeters. So now when we click, if I go upwards, we click. So now I'm going to move this. I'm going to select this and I'm going to move it using the bottom right corner. I'm going to place it right there, like so. You might have to do this a few times to get accustomed to it. If you get it right away, all power to you. Alright, so now finally we're going to use the arc tool. If you're accustomed to traditional drawing, this is your compass. We're going to use the setting center start in. Center start in is going to simulate how our regular compass operates. You put the center point, which is going to be here, right here, not over here, right here. Then we put the starting point of our compass, which is here, and then we're going to go counterclockwise, come all the way down to that point, like so. So there we have our door. I'm just going to delete this line now. I'm going to need it. Alright, so that's our door. We're going to a 900 millimeter door. I'm going to turn it into a block. So I go up to insert, create block, create block. I'm going to call this door 1, although we're not going to make any other doors. This is going to be our 900 millimeter. And what is the height of this door going to be? It's typically 2000 millimeters. All right. So 2000, 2100, because the door weighs about 7 feet high, maybe a little less, but say 2000 millimeters to be accurate. So let's just leave it as that. Door 1, we need to select our objects. So all the objects that make up the door, this the 2 rectangles, the arc, the three rectangles, sorry, select them, hit enter. Now we're going to pick our base point. Our base point for our door is going to be right here in the corner. Good. So now we have that. We're done. Hit OK. Door is created as a single block. If you're using an older version of AutoCAD, when you create your door or window blocks, the original lines that you use might not fuse into that one object. It might not. But you could, once you go to the insert and insert it, whatever you insert is going to be one object. Okay? Okay. Okay. Alright. So okay, seems like my mouse is giving a little trouble, so I'm going to be using my trackpad. Don't worry, I'll move a lot faster. Alright, so I use the pan tool there rather than clicking the mouse. Alright, so let's put in the doors. We need to use this door. We need to put this door here. We need this one. We're going to put it in. I'm just putting all the doors where we need them. And we need another door for the entrance of the house. Right, so we're going to put a door right here. We're going to rotate them to fit the place that they should be. Alright, so first one, let's use the rotate tool. Select that door, enter, or right click. Select a base point. Base point is going to be right here. And then I'm going to rotate it. Remember, when you go counterclockwise, it increases the degrees. So right now it's at 0 degrees. That's 90. That's 90. That's 180. That's 270. All right. So I'm going to type 270 degrees and hit enter. And there we go. I'm going to do the same thing for this one actually. I'm going to rotate this one 90 degrees because it should be opening according to our sketch. It should be opening right with the door swinging to the wall. All of them. Okay, so let's rotate this one. Set the base point and then rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to have to mirror it using the mirror tool. because notice it's swinging away from the wall. Use the mirror tool, and then it's asking me to specify the first point of the mirror line. I'm going to draw a horizontal line, which is your mirror line. Now you don't have to click the object. I could actually draw this line, select this object I want to mirror, hit enter, and now I could draw this line of here. Just like in maths and your graph, your mirror line, it's 10 units from the mirror line, and now the mirrored object is going to be 10 units from the mirror line also. Alright, so should we erase the source? Yes, because we just wanted to get this part of here. So that's rotated the right way. I noticed we didn't have one for the bathroom, so I'm going to get back the door and put it. Actually, I can put this in one time. So like so. Immediately, I put it in immediately. Alright, so let's put all of these doors in place. This one goes, it already has a base point. I don't right there. That's why I selected when I created it. I don't have to use the move tool unless I want to change my base point. So I'm going to put it right there in the corner. I'm going to jam it right in the corner. Sometimes people like to put um, pan tool. Alright, I'm using my trackpad now. So this one, we'll put it right here. I know the video is getting a bit long. It's okay. It's okay. What else? Okay, we need this one. So we want to rotate it. We want to put it the other way, swinging outwards. Okay, so let's go to the rotate tool, select here as a base point, and then I wanted to rotate it this way. So rather than going to 270 degrees, I'm going to go negative 90, and it's going to rotate it the opposite direction. Little shortcut for you. And then I want to mirror it. So I selected it, mirror it. The mirror line is going to be just a straight line like that. Erase the source, yes. And now I can move this around by clicking this and moving it like that. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we have that door opening. It was like so. What else? Maths. Let's use P pan. So we have the doors, windows, we have the dimensions, the labels. Oh, we did not put in our open spaces. So our open spaces are going to be one for the kitchen and one for this area up here. All right. So I'm going to create a layer for that as well. Or what I can do, um, I could just retract the walls, the lines that represent the walls. So this one, I'm going to go down to the bottom here. I'm going to hover over this point, this end point of the line. So I selected the line first, hover over the end point of the line, and you see where it says lengthen, I click that. So now I could make the line longer, or I can make it shorter. So I go in the direction to make it shorter, and then I type the distance I want it to be shorter. So I'm going to type 1500 millimeters, and that should be 5 feet, and hit enter. So now the line retracted instead of lengthening, retracted. 1500 millimeters or 5 feet. All right, I'm going to pause the video right now because there's a funeral passing, and there's going to be a lot of noise. I don't think you'll be able to hear me. All right. All right, I am back. Funeral has passed. Okay, so we want to put another open space right here. It might be easier. It might be easier to. Okay, we might have to measure this space and put a 1500 millimeter space in between it. All right, so let me just see how wide this space is. If I type DI, that's my distance tool used to find the distance for something. So from here to here, it's all right. It's Right, so this one is 2400 millimeters. So that's about 8 feet, which is the same. Oh yeah, we should know that that's the space of our yeah, bathroom above 2400, which is 8 feet. All right. So we want 5 feet in the middle of this wall. We want to put a wall straight through here, but we want it to have an arch opening 5 feet in the middle. So if you have 5 feet and the entire in the middle and five and this the entire thing is 8 feet, that's going to leave a foot and a half on each side. It's going to leave 3 feet, but 3 feet split into two sides, this side and that side. So a foot and a half, 1 foot and a half, it's 450 millimeters. Let's multiply everything by 300 to convert feet to millimeters. So I'm just going to extend this line here. I'm going to extend it or lengthen it. So I hover over this. I click the line first. I hover over the endpoint, and then I come down to lengthen. I move in this direction and I tell it how much I want to lengthen it. By 450 millimeters, a foot and a half, I hit enter. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side over here. Come over this point, lengthen, move my mouse this way, 450 millimeters, enter. So that space in between here is going to be our opening, our archway. In our floor plan, it's represented a bit differently, so we would do that when we get to that point. All right, just to make it look a little bit more complete, now we're going to do one last thing and then we'll be done with this video. This drawing, we're going to trim away all of these spaces in between the doors, the doorways. Okay, so um, over here, and I believe that is we're missing one thing. Let's see. Yep, we're missing the door leading outside of the house from the kitchen. No problem, we'll put that in. Insert. We're getting a lot of practice using these things. Use the door tool. I'm gonna put it down here. How is it oriented? Swinging. Okay, the door itself is on the bottom side in line with the wall. So we need to rotate it and mirror it. So I'm going to select it, come to the home tab. I'm going to rotate, select here as my base point, and rotate it 90 degrees, 90, enter, there it is. And then I'm going to mirror it. Now there's actually shortcuts commands you could use for all of these tools, and it's usually just start typing the name and you would see it. Anyways, I'm using the mirror tool, select the object I want to mirror, hit enter, and then draw a mirror line like so. Boom, come across, boom, erase source, yes. And now I can just for pan, click and bring it down. Alright, escape, and I want to move this. I can use the move tool, or I can just click the base point right there, like so, and put it in the corner. TR for trim, enter, right click if you're using 2018. If not, you can just click on the line and it will trim it away. Alright, next up, I believe that's it. Let me just zoom into this area and center this drawing a bit. Zoom, W for window, draw the window around it. Right, so we can see we have the sketch in AutoCAD that we would be using to produce our flow plans and our order plans. I was just thinking something else there for a second. Okay, I left out the steps, but that's okay. We don't care about the steps right now, but because these things can change when we actually start doing the flow plan. All right, so this is going to be it for this drawing. In the next short video in the series, I'm going to show you how to put this on paper So maybe you want to print this off and you want to be working off a piece of paper rather than toggling between screens when you're doing a floor plan. So I'm going to show you how to put this on a piece of paper in the next drawing. All right, so see you then.